Now at 10, a quick weather warm-up bringing fears of flooding where homeowners threatened by wildfires are now worried about rising water. Plus, talk of closing schools and shifting boundaries where students are at risk of possible changes. Tonight, parents in the Granite School District are sounding off. And aircraft accidents, 3 happening in Utah in just a matter of days. Hear what we're learning about the downed planes.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
Welcome to ABC4 News at 10. I'm Glenn Mills.
And I'm Emily Flores. We thank you for joining us. Tonight, we do begin with more flooding concerns for an area that's already gone through so much.
ABC4's Courtney Johns live in Tooele County tonight with more on the unique challenges that area is facing. Courtney.
Yeah, we are right outside the Stockton Fire Department, and they have been collecting sand and providing sandbags to the community for a while. You can see a pile right there. And this fire department is located right off of SR 36, which just last fall had to close because of flood damage.
Everyone who lives around here knows areas like Soldier Canyon have a history of flooding, including the severe flooding we saw in August of 2021 when Soldier Creek overflowed. The Jacob City burn scar has only made things worse, burning over 4,000 acres, while the state as a whole has had about 25,000 acres burned in 2022. The Utah Department of Natural Resources says the biggest issue with burn scars is the lack of vegetation.
The vegetation will oftentimes absorb some of that moisture, and in burn areas or burn scars, if they had burned particularly hot, the soil is oftentimes hydrophobic, so the water won't absorb into the soil and it'll just run down the hill.
And you heard the DNR just say it a second ago, but that heat, depending on how strong that fire is, can determine how bad of damage there is to the soil. And they do have rehab groups that work to fix these areas, but that process isn't an overnight thing. They say it takes on average 2 to 8 years for vegetation to grow back. Reporting live in Stockton, Courtney Johns, ABC4 News.
Thank you, Courtney. Aside from flooding, another concern, avalanche danger in our mountains. This is a live look at the mouth of Little Cottonwood Canyon, where roads are still closed due to high avalanche hazards. And there's no word yet on when Little Cottonwood Canyon will even reopen. The increased avalanche risk, both Little and Big Cottonwood Canyons, due to the quick transition from a harsh winter to warmer spring weather. Another natural avalanche reported in Little Cottonwood Canyon early this afternoon at White Pine Chutes, covering the roadway. Big Cottonwood closing at 11 this morning and then opening back up at 4 p.m. And that's a schedule that's expected to stay in place through Thursday. With temperatures expected to warm up tomorrow, the threat for more natural slides will likely remain.
All right, and for the latest in the forecast and what we can expect throughout the week, let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy for that. Hey, Alana.
Hi, friends. Yeah, we talk about that sliding snow. We knew this warm-up could be problematic, and that's exactly what happened in the Cottonwoods. This is a great photo coming from Ben Lomond Peak. We did see some sliding snow near North Ogden. Brian White Leather catching that one. Our avalanche warning has been extended and holds on until 6 a.m. tomorrow. It includes the Wasatch Range all the way up through the Bear River Range and the northwestern corner of the state. These warmer temperatures just accelerating runoff, and that leads to high avalanche danger, which is exactly what we've seen. Moderate danger in the western Uintas, the Skyline area, and clear in eastern Utah, but it's that high danger that keeps us on our toes. Spring conditions can be dicey, and that's what we've seen, especially with our temperature swings. Gorgeous day in the valley today. You know what I'm talking about. If you were in northern Utah or even down south, 77 for that high in Salt Lake. We saw upper 50s in Logan, 70s in Moab, and upper 80s down there in St. George. 77. What a difference a week makes, because last Monday we topped out at 37 and we had 5.5 inches of measurable snow. Some of you had more on your lawns, a 40-degree temperature swing in just 1 week, and that is exactly why those avalanche concerns hold on. How long can we expect temperatures to warm? I'll answer that question coming up in my full forecast. Glenn, Emily, over to you.
All right, Alana, thank you. Well, new at 10, changes could be coming to the Granite School District tonight. Parents and school leaders discussing possible boundary changes and school closures, which could impact students who live in Magna, Kearns, and West Valley City. Granite School District saying they're considering changes due to a drop in student population, but some parents are worried low-income families will lose out on important resources.
We do everything English and Spanish. We have the community center. We have a lot of help with a lot of things. Title I school and everything, so I feel like that's going to affect a lot of families.
We expect to lose another 2,000 to 3,000 students in Granite School District over the next few years, and so we'll continue to go through this process and make adjustments to boundaries to keep our schools at the populations they need to be.
So if you would like to voice your opinion on the issue, there's another public meeting scheduled for 6 p.m. next Monday at Hunter High School.
Also new at 10, a Utah man dies while on a biking trip with his 14 and 15-year-old sons in Arizona. On Friday, Yavapai County Search and Rescue called to a trail near Devil's Bridge in Sedona. The boys calling for help, telling deputies their dad was not breathing. They say he was complaining of chest pains and fell off his bike. Now, rescue crews using ATVs to reach the family and finding the man and saying he was dead on scene. Deputies staying with the boys until they could be reunited with their families. In developing news tonight, we're following the very latest on the first official day of the trial of Lori Vallow Daybell. The trial kicking off as we learn Tammy Daybell died of asphyxiation. Vallow Daybell is accused of conspiring to kill Tammy and accused of killing her 2 children. The prosecution saying Lori used money, power, and sex to get what she wanted and focused on how her 2 kids' remains were found. While the defense spoke about the publicity surrounding the case, stressing media exposure is not evidence. If convicted, Vallow Daybell could face life in prison without the possibility of parole. The trial could take up to 3 months, so make sure you stick with us right here on ABC4 News. We'll bring you the very latest developments from inside the courtroom, both here on air and online at abc4.com.
And now to a string of small aircraft accidents that we've been seeing across the state, each scare linked to a different reason, though. Today, the pilot of a small passenger plane forced to make an emergency landing on West Davis Corridor in Farmington. Police say the reason was because of an engine failure. This comes after 2 other aircrafts crashed on Saturday. In Wasatch County, a student pilot and an instructor crashed a helicopter. Deputies saying the student from the Utah State University Flight School misread the crosswind while training to land. Later that same day, a pilot crashed his small plane in Morgan County. Now, the sheriff's office saying that the pilot lost power at around 9,000 feet before crashing into a field. Luckily, in all of these, no one died in these accidents. And in South Salt Lake, police are looking for 2 men accused of armed robbery at the Zions Bank near 38th South and 7th East. It was on Friday. Police say the suspect showed a weapon to bank employees and demanded money. Well, they posted these surveillance photos online showing the masked suspects, one of them holding what appears to be a gun. They both did get away with money, but the getaway car, the silver Toyota Camry. One thing that was a noticeable detail we should share is the rear door on the driver's side is white. So if you have any information on this robbery, you're asked to call police. The number there at the bottom of your screen.
In southern Utah, items are being stolen from homes still under construction. That's according to the Santa Clara and Ivins Police Department, posting these photos online showing a man who they believe is responsible for stealing items from multiple construction sites. One photo showing a white pickup truck carrying a large item wrapped in a blue tarp. So if you recognize this man or that truck right there, call police. We have the number for you right there at the bottom of the screen.
Coming up, we're in the final stretch of tax season, and we're taking a look back at how dealing with the IRS has changed over the years. It's going to be worth watching.
And the battle over an abortion pill heating up. See how an already complicated debate is becoming even more complex.
Plus, it's warmer than the average high that we typically see today. Usually we're at 60 degrees. We're sitting at 63 with clear skies out there. How long the warming trend holds on throughout the state in Utah's most accurate forecast.